Imagine stumbling across an old nickel in your change jar. It's dull, unassuming, and probably hasn't been touched in decades. But what if I told you, this exact nickel could be worth $935,000 today? No, this isn't a fantasy. It's not some clickbait trick. This is a real story, and it's happening across America. People like you are cashing in on coins they forgot even existed. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most surprising stories in numismatic history, the 1960 no-mint mark Jefferson Nickel. A 5-cent coin that could make you wealthier than you ever imagined. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, and why collectors are fighting to get their hands on this nickel at almost $1 million. But first, let me ask you this. When was the last time you checked your coin jar? If your answer is, never, well, you might want to grab it. Right now, you know the one I'm talking about, the dusty glass jar behind your microwave that hasn't seen sunlight since 2003? Yes, that one. Let's talk about why this ordinary-looking nickel is causing extraordinary wealth shifts. The year was 1960. America was at the dawn of a new decade, bursting with energy, ambition, and change. The Jefferson Nickel had already been circulating since 1938. But something subtle and rare happened in 1960 at the Philadelphia Mint. A batch of Jefferson Nickels left the mint without a mint mark, which normally isn't unusual for Philadelphia coins. But this batch was struck with unusual precision, a rare die alignment, and in extremely limited numbers. A flaw here. A metal impurity there. And suddenly, you've got a coin worth a house in California. One of these nickels, graded MS-67 full steps, recently fetched $935,000 at auction. That's right. A 5-cent piece from 1960 turned into a life-altering payday. But what makes it so valuable? 3 things. Number 1, the coin's grade. Coins in mint state with no scratches and full details are rare for this year. Number 2, the full steps designation. That means the steps on Monticello at the back of the coin are fully visible and unbroken. Number 3, its historical scarcity. Collectors and investors are obsessed with rare flaws from transitional minting years like 1960. And here's where it gets interesting. Most people who owned this coin had no idea what they were holding. They spent it. Tossed it into vending machines. Let it gather dust in a drawer. Would you have done the same? Coming up, I'll reveal the exact markers to help you identify this 6-figure nickel in your own collection, and what not to do if you think you found one. Because one wrong move could cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Ever sell something at a garage sale, then find out it was worth a fortune? Yeah, let's not repeat that mistake with your coins. So let's break this down. If you believe you have a 1960 Jefferson Nickel without a mint mark, look closely at the following. Condition: the cleaner, the better. If it looks brand new, you might be in luck. Full steps: check the stairs on Monticello under a magnifying glass. If you can count 5 or 6 distinct steps, you may have a full steps designation. No mint mark, that's key. No D or S means it likely came from Philadelphia. Sharp strike and clean surfaces. Fewer blemishes equal more value. Now here's what not to do: don't clean the coin. Cleaning can destroy the coin's value in seconds. Leave it as is and get it professionally graded. Coins like this aren't just collectibles, they are investment-grade assets, and savvy collectors are treating them like gold. Right now, as you're watching this, there are collectors offering life-changing money for these coins. The market is hotter than ever. And the window is small. These high-value coins don't stay hidden forever. The more people learn about them, the more they disappear into private collections, never to be sold again. So, if you're sitting on one, or even think you might be, this is your moment. Don't let it slip away. Many people dream of becoming wealthy, but very few realize that sometimes, wealth is already in your hands. Sometimes, it's hiding in a dusty drawer, waiting to be recognized. Waiting to change your life. You don't need luck. You need knowledge. And now, you have it. In our next video, I'll reveal 3 other nickel coins from the 1960s that are quietly selling for over $100,000 each, and one of them is still in circulation today. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it, because next time you get change at the store, you might just be holding your future. Yes, you heard that right, not $9. Not $900,932,000, let that sink in. Now here's the million-dollar question, is that rare coin hiding in your collection, or worse, already spent? Today, we're diving into one of the most overlooked yet astonishingly valuable coins in American history. A coin that could literally change your financial future if you know what to look for. So buckle up. Because by the end of this video you'll not only know why this coin is so rare, but also how to identify it, and most importantly, how to sell it for life-changing money. Let's unlock the secrets of the 1961 no-mint mark Jefferson Nickel. Let's start with a little context. The year was 1961. The Cold War was in full swing. Gas was 31 cents a gallon. And the U.S. Mint struck hundreds of millions of Jefferson nickels. So what makes this plain, no-mint mark coin so valuable today? Here's where the story gets interesting. The 1961 Jefferson nickel with no mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, standard procedure at the time. Over 76 million of them were struck. So far, nothing unusual, right? But hidden among those millions are a few mysterious outliers, coins that were struck on proof planchets, or with sharply doubled dies, or even unusual full steps, which are the tiny steps on Monticello's design on the back. Think of these features like secret codes. The difference between a 5-cent coin and one that fetches almost $1 million. Now, here's a fun attention reset. Have you ever checked your change and thought, "Yep, I'm looking at early retirement"? No? Well, after today, you just might, because the highest known sale for a 1961 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel, graded MS-67 with full steps, reached a staggering $932,000 at auction. That's not a typo. Let me ask you something. What would you do with close to $1 million from a coin you found in an old drawer? Pay off the mortgage? Start a new business? Or maybe buy that dream home you keep pushing off year after year? This isn't just about coins. It's about opportunity hiding in plain sight. But here's where things get serious, because for every one person who finds a rare Jefferson nickel, thousands throw them away unknowingly. Why? Because they never knew what to look for. So let me walk you through the telltale signs, the clues that your nickel may be worth a fortune. First, examine the reverse side of your nickel, specifically the Monticello building. If the steps are sharply defined, what collectors call full steps, you've just found your first jackpot. Clue: most nickels from 1961 were poorly struck, especially around the steps. Finding one with clean, full steps is like finding a needle in a haystack. Next, look for mirror-like surfaces, proof-like or brilliant finishes that indicate the coin was struck with unusual force or detail. That's a second flag. Now comes the tricky part, grading, because unless your coin is professionally graded, preferably MS-66 or higher, you're not in the realm of six figures. And here's a hard truth, collectors and buyers pay for perfection. A single scratch or worn edge can slash your coin's value in half. So if you're serious about unlocking the full potential of your nickel, do not clean it, do not touch the surface, and absolutely do not sell it to a pawn shop without knowing its true worth. Still think it's just pocket change? Let me guess, you're now raiding your sock drawer, coin jar, and that old shoebox labeled miscellaneous junk. Good. That's exactly what you should be doing, because history has shown us, these coins hide in plain sight. Just last year, an unassuming coin from a retired schoolteacher's collection went from being just another nickel to a $600,000 treasure. She almost gave it to her grandson for a gumball. Close call. Now here's where the opportunity gets urgent. The market for rare Jefferson nickels is hot right now. Dealers, collectors, and auction houses are actively searching for premium examples, but demand never lasts forever. The window for maximum value is now. So if you wait too long, your coin might go from nearly $1 million to a modest 100. Don't let hesitation steal your moment. Still wondering if your 1961 no-mint mark nickel is the one? Let me leave you with this final thought. The next great coin discovery won't happen in a museum or at an auction house. It'll happen in someone's living room, in a drawer, in a forgotten corner of a coin jar, and that someone might be you. Don't just dream of wealth, act on it. Go find that nickel. If you think you found one, or you want to learn how to sell it properly, subscribe now and drop a comment below. We're helping people across America turn old coins into real money, and you could be next. And in our next video, we'll reveal the 1964 Jefferson nickel that's already broken records, and why experts believe its value could double in the next year. Sounds unbelievable? Keep watching, because by the end of this video, you'll not only understand why this coin is so valuable, but you'll also learn how to spot one and what to do if you find it, and just a heads up, there's more to this coin than meets the eye. There's a hidden detail, often missed, that makes the difference between 5 cents and a small fortune. We'll get to that in a moment, but first, let me ask you something. When was the last time you checked your coin jar? Because if you've ignored it, you might be sitting on a goldmine. And if you throw out old coins without checking, that might be one of the most expensive mistakes you'll ever make. The Jefferson nickel was first minted in 1938, named after the third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson. But in 1962, something unusual happened. An ordinary year with an extraordinary anomaly. Millions of these nickels were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally didn't use a mint mark at the time. Most of them were average. Common. Worth exactly what they said, 5 cents, but a tiny handful. They were struck with unusually sharp details, flawless surfaces, and no mint mark, in near-perfect condition, referred to as full steps nickels. Now here's the kicker. In 2021, a 1962 no mint mark Jefferson nickel, graded MS-67 with full steps, sold for a jaw-dropping $930,000 at auction. Why? Because this level of perfection is unheard of for this year in design. Think about that. You could hold two nickels in your hand, same year, same design, and one could be worth 5 cents, while the other is worth more than a luxury home in Miami. Crazy, right? Let's get deeper. You might be asking, what makes this nickel so special? It's not magic. It's condition, rarity, and history. Most 1962 nickels were poorly struck. The dies used to create them were old, worn out, and produced coins with blurry details. That's why the sharp, fully detailed versions are so rare. The full steps variety is the holy grail of Jefferson nickels. Collectors look for 5 or 6 sharp steps at the base of Monticello on the reverse side. If your coin has that, and it's in pristine condition, meaning no scratches, nicks, or stains, then congratulations. You might just be holding a 6-figure treasure, still not sure it's worth your time. Let me put it this way, the odds of winning the lottery are 1 in 300 million. The odds of finding a valuable Jefferson nickel in your change jar. Much, much higher. And here's a humorous thought. We spend hours scrolling online for side hustles, yet we ignore the real hustle sitting in our coin jars. Let that sink in. So, what if you already had one? What if, 10 years ago, you emptied your grandfather's coin collection into a jar, thinking it was junk, and inside that jar was a 1962 no mint mark full steps nickel worth nearly $1 million? Would you even know? That's the fear that should keep you watching. Because next, I'll tell you exactly how to identify this coin, what to look for, and where to sell it for maximum value. Let's walk through this. First, check the date, 1962. Next, flip the coin and look at the steps beneath Monticello. Are they sharp, clear, and separated? If yes, that's step 1. Now examine the surface. Is it free from heavy scratches or discoloration? If it looks brand new, you might have a high-grade example. Finally, get it graded. Do not, I repeat, do not sell it to a random buyer before you get it professionally graded by services like PCGS or NGC. A simple grading can multiply the value tenfold. Now comes the fun part. Once graded, your coin can be listed through auctions, coin dealers, or high-end numismatic platforms. These are places where collectors pay real money, and I mean life-changing money, for rare coins in top condition. But don't wait too long, rare coin prices fluctuate. And as more of these nickels are found and graded, the market value might dip. Right now, it's hot. There's excitement, urgency, and high demand. It's the perfect storm, and your moment. So let me ask you again, when was the last time you checked your coins? Because right now, somewhere in America, a retired veteran is turning 5 cents into $500,000. A single mom is discovering a forgotten jar of coins and paying off her mortgage. An everyday person is waking up a millionaire, because they looked a little closer. Will that be you? Or will you watch this video, feel the excitement, then forget? Don't let this be another missed opportunity. Search, find, verify, sell. And if you think this was exciting, just wait until you hear about the Jefferson nickel that was struck on a silver planchet by mistake, worth even more than today's coin. What if I told you that a simple 1963 Jefferson nickel, with no mint mark, could make you a fortune? I'm talking about $927,000. Yes, that's almost $1 million, for a coin most people would toss into a tip jar without a second thought. This is not a fantasy or clickbait. This is real. And today, I'll take you on a journey into the world of one of the most overlooked yet astonishingly valuable coins in U.S. history, the 1963 no-mint mark Jefferson Nickel. If you're someone who has old coins lying around, or you've inherited a collection from a loved one, this video could change your financial future. But you must watch until the end, because I'm going to reveal the exact features that make this coin worth over $900,000, and how one tiny detail can be the difference between pocket change and a payday that could retire you early. Ready to discover the coin that could set you free financially? Let's begin. The story of the Jefferson Nickel began in 1938. Named after the third President of the United States, this 5-cent piece replaced the Buffalo nickel and carried with it a quiet legacy. But in 1963, something extraordinary happened, or rather, didn't happen. The Denver Mint was active. So was the San Francisco Mint. But one batch of nickels came from the Philadelphia Mint, with no mint mark at all. To the average person, this was business as usual. But to the trained eye of collectors, it marked the beginning of a phenomenon. Here's the twist: most 1963 nickels were circulated in the millions. But an extremely rare batch had a striking error, a minting mistake so subtle and so rare, it flew under the radar for decades. And because it lacked a mint mark, people simply assumed it was common. That's where the opportunity lies, and let's be honest. When was the last time you even looked at your nickels? Quick question to shake things up: if you dropped a nickel on the street today, would you even bother to pick it up? Most people wouldn't. But if it's one of these rare 1963 Jefferson nickels, you'd be walking away from nearly $1 million. Let that sink in. Now, let's talk about what makes this particular coin worth $927,000 at auction. Not all 1963 nickels are valuable. In fact, most are worth exactly 5 cents. But the $1 million nickel? It has very specific characteristics. Number 1, the coin must be in proof-like condition, meaning it has never been circulated and retains an almost mirror-like shine. Number 2, look for full steps on Monticello, that's Jefferson's home on the reverse side. If the steps are fully visible, with no wear or smudging, that's a strong indicator of rarity. And number 3, here's the $1 million feature: a double die error. This happens when the coin is struck twice by the die, creating a slightly doubled image, especially noticeable in the words "In God We Trust" or "Liberty." This minting mistake is incredibly rare, and wildly valuable. Imagine someone finding this coin in an old coffee can in their garage. They took it to an appraiser, and walked out with an offer of nearly $1 million. That's not just profit. That's life-changing money. Now think. Do you have a jar of coins tucked away somewhere in your house? Maybe your grandfather's old coin collection. Are you sure you haven't been sitting on a goldmine? This is why urgency matters. Because as more people discover the truth about this nickel, the window of opportunity is closing. Fast. So here's the $1 million question, no pun intended: will you be the person who cashes in, or the one who finds out too late? Because right now, someone in America is walking past a rare coin, unaware of what they're holding. Don't let that be you. Take action today. Go through your coin jars. Open that old box in the attic. Carefully check any 1963 Jefferson nickels you find. Look for the absence of a mint mark. Examine the steps on Monticello. And most importantly, search for signs of a double die, and when you find one, not if, but when, because some of you will, have it professionally graded. Because a coin like this, in pristine condition, can flip your entire financial story. We're not just talking about collecting anymore. We're talking about creating generational wealth from something most people ignore. Now here's the final cliffhanger. In our next video, I'll reveal 2 more Jefferson nickels from the 1960s that are even rarer than the 1963 no mint mark, and one of them recently sold for more than $1 million. Yes, more than this one. Yes, you heard that right. A Jefferson nickel from 1964, with no mint mark, has stunned the collecting world. And it's not just a rumor. One of these coins has surfaced with an astonishing market value. So here's the million-dollar question. Do you have one of these sitting in your old change drawer right now? Stay with me. Because in the next few minutes, you're going to discover the story behind this humble coin, why collectors are willing to pay a fortune for it, and how you could turn forgotten change into financial freedom. But be warned, not all 1964 nickels are created equal, and missing this opportunity, it could cost you more than you think. Let's rewind the clock to 1964. The United States was facing a serious coin shortage. Silver was being hoarded, inflation was creeping in, and the US Mint was under pressure. That year alone, over 1.7 billion Jefferson nickels were minted. Most came from Philadelphia and Denver. But what collectors didn't know at the time, is that a rare handful were different. Hidden among these billions was a mistake. A die error. A flaw in the design. Something so subtle, it escaped the eyes of nearly every American, until decades later. Here's where it gets interesting. Some of these 1964 nickels, minted without a mint mark, were struck with a special die that created a sharper image, a deeper strike, and unusual surface characteristics. And here's the kicker, collectors are obsessed with perfection. One of these coins, graded in near-perfect condition, recently hit the market, and its price. A jaw-dropping $925,000. Let that sink in. That's not a typo. That's life-changing money, for a single nickel. Now, let me ask you something fun. When's the last time you checked the dates on your pocket change? Honestly, you might have been too focused on morning coffee or rushing out the door to notice. But think about it, what if your next trip to the store hands you a nickel worth more than your car? Funny how fate works, isn't it? Alright, let's get serious again, because we're about to dive into how to identify the valuable ones. Not every 1964 Jefferson nickel is valuable. In fact, 99.9% of them aren't worth more than face value. But that rare 0.01%. That's what legends, and fortunes, are made of. So, what sets the valuable ones apart? Here are the key details serious collectors and grading companies look for. First, check for the absence of a mint mark, meaning no small d or s under the date. This indicates it was minted in Philadelphia. Second, inspect the coin's strike quality. The valuable version of the 1964 no mint mark nickel has unusually strong details, especially in Jefferson's hair, cheekbone, and the steps on Monticello. Third, condition is everything. The million-dollar example was graded MS67 full steps. That means the coin is in mint state, untouched by circulation, with the staircase on the Monticello building showing 5 to 6 full steps, clear and undamaged. Finding one in your change. Rare, finding one in pristine condition. Rarer still, but remember, even lower-grade examples of this coin have sold for thousands of dollars. Here's a little story that might hit close to home. A retired postal worker in Pennsylvania recently found one in an old coin jar while cleaning out his garage. He nearly threw it out, but something told him to hold on to it. He sent it for grading. It came back as MS66 full steps. That nickel sold for over $32,000. And that was just last year. Makes you wonder what's hiding in your drawers, doesn't it? Now, before you go turning your house upside down, here's what you need to do. Step 1, gather any old nickels, especially from 1964. Inspect them closely. Step 2, use a magnifier or smartphone camera to check for full steps and strong detail. If it looks sharp and has no mint mark, you might be on to something. Step 3, submit it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. A verified grade is the only way to unlock top dollar. And finally, if you find something promising, do not sell it to your local pawn shop. Reach out to serious collectors or auction houses that specialize in rare coins. This is your legacy coin. Treat it like one that we all dream of: a better life, more freedom, less stress, the chance to leave something behind for the next generation. And sometimes, that dream doesn't start with a lottery ticket or a business deal. Sometimes, it starts with a nickel. So tonight, when the house is quiet, pull out that old change jar. Open the dusty drawer. Look through those forgotten rolls, because your million-dollar moment might already be sitting right there, waiting to be found. This is more than a story about a coin. It's a reminder that wealth often hides in plain sight. Thanks for watching. Stay sharp, stay curious, and as always, check your change.